J, 4, C. The afternoon is here, y'all. Cracking open that Raz energy drink. Discount code J4C. Or EEPenergy.com. Raw, uncut sports talk. Coming at you Monday through Friday, noon, East Coast time. But as always, we gotta ask you one question.
Are you ready for it? Are you ready for it?
And welcome to Just for Clicks, guys. I am Michael Buckcaster. This is live, raw, and uncut sports talk. And always, I am joined with my man, Mike LeBlanc. Mike, how are you doing today, man?
Man, I'm doing pretty good, man.
Getting that food scarf down?
Yeah.
First things first, though, tell your wife Happy Mother's Day over there, and your mama Happy Mother's Day as well, because she did give birth to a legend sitting on my right-hand side over there. And I couldn't be much more happy of having a co-host like you on this awesome Just for Clicks podcast, man.
That was sweet.
Yeah, man. I'm talking from the heart, and you're my brother from another mother now. You have been upgraded, man. So
same to your wife and your mom.
Yeah, hopefully my mom made it home safely, driving back to Kansas today. But before we get too far carried into the show, guys, if you guys are new here, watch us on Facebook Live or YouTube Live. Be sure to subscribe or like to those pages. Share them with a couple friends. Share them with some couple groups as well. If you listen to this on podcast form, be sure to subscribe to this podcast. Hit the notification bell as well and give us a ranking on that podcast. But, Mike, let's go ahead and get into today's show here. If you guys remember last time we were on air, Mike was really pumped about the UFC fights. Really, really, really pumped. I got a chance to watch a couple of the prelim fights. I personally did not buy it because I just can't justify spending $65 for myself to watch a fight. But Mike, first things first, how were the fights in your eyes? Were they good fights?
Oh yeah. Yeah, they were really good fights last night, especially the main event. I was super surprised with Cejudo. Just after he won his fight, I'm retiring. I was kind of blown back. I was like, whoa, because I think like I was telling you a pre-show, I think Cejudo still has some more gas left in the tank. Actually, I think he's got a lot of gas left in the tank. And then the Ferguson and Bayfy fight, that is going to be an instant classic fight. I don't think they should have stopped it. The guy was still on his feet, but I mean, it was what it was. But it was sombering without fans in the stand.
Yeah, I was actually going to bring that up to you, but you also brought up another key point here, guys. We also do a pre-show. Me and Mike discussed for about 15, 20 minutes on the pre-show. It's over on the YouTube channel. So if you guys ever want to check that out, just get to know us like a little better and banter, like a little bit back and forth pre-show, go ahead and subscribe to that YouTube channel. But this is the reason why I really want to bring up the UFC fights. It's funny that you brought up that called fight. I believe it was the third round in TKO, I believe is what they officially announced it as. But Joe Rogan was on SportsCenter this morning, said that it was the right call. He did feel like it may have seemed a little bit premature, but if you were there and saw him stumbling and stuff like that, and like you could see that the fight was over. So
yeah, no, he got rocked, and I mean I have mixed feelings about it, right? Because you want to protect people, but then again, I think about myself in that situation. Like, I'm still on my feet. If I'm still on my feet, I still have a fighting chance. So let me go.
I see what you're saying, but at the same time, you have to think of this not as a bar fight or like a brawl, but you have to think of this as a career. And I'm glad, there is a ref there saving my career, so I live to fight another day. Because I watched the UFC 30 for 30, and people thought that it was a fight to the death and that kind of thing. You fought one time and like you were done, and so it's definitely nice to encouraging that there's people looking out for those people to and long their career and stuff like that. So
I mean, and like I said, I understand, but man, if I'm on my feet, I still got a fighting chance, no matter if I'm stumbling or not. You know what I mean?
Right. I see what you're saying, but let's go ahead and jump into the other side of this talk here, and the fact that the UFC had no fans there, watching the prelims, and it just felt really ominous. Do you remember the show? It was on Spike TV. The UFC. The name slipped in my mind now.
Ultimate Contender.
Yeah, that. Like when they would do those expeditions, and like you just hear their feet like hitting faces, and the mat smacking, and the hearing of the coaches and stuff like that. I mean, like that's all cool and stuff, but just the fan interactions in sports, period, it's so much more than what people really make it out to be. I tuned into wrestling on Friday night to kind of get in the fighting zone. Yes, I know wrestling and UFC are nothing alike, but whatsoever. But wrestling doesn't have fans either, and it looks so childish that I'm going to put it out there. WWE right now with no fans looks so childish because like they had Gronk out there, and Gronk's a horrible actor. I'm just going to put that out there. He is freaking horrible. But me and you were talking pre-show, and fans in sports go intertwined. I was a type of player that I could not get hyped up for practices. I could not get hyped up for preseason. I couldn't get hyped up for inter squad scrimmages. Walking out on the field Saturday night with 20,000 people in the stands, like the lights on. It's a different type of vibe. But so the question that I want to ask you is football. Let's say this year starts on time, like the September 10th date, but they don't allow fans at the game. Are you going to watch that? I mean, you're going to watch the football game still, but are you going to be as involved, as intrigued?
I think they're still going to have fans in the stands with football. I really do. I think what they're going to do, and what honestly I thought the UFC was going to do, was it would be one person or two people. If you bought tickets together,
be socially distanced, basically what you're saying.
Yeah, and then there's going to be few and few chairs on each side of you. That's what I thought UFC was going to do, but I don't think the government has opened up enough from COVID to do that. But when football comes, I think that's probably what we're looking at.
See, in theory, that sounds excellent, but you cannot keep fans from interacting in the bathrooms. You can't keep fans from standing in too close in line at the snack bar. Me walking through the snack bar line to get to my seats.
You can't do that at the grocery store either.
Right. So, you can try to enforce all the rules you want, or we can just be like, you know what? The COVID-19's here. It is here to stay. Move on with their lives. I actually saw a study right before we came on air that it was like 6,000 Major League Baseball players were tested back in March when this thing first happened. 75% of them tested positive, but they didn't have any symptoms whatsoever. So what I'm saying is all of us have probably had COVID. Let's just be strictly honest. All of us have probably
100%, and that goes back to like when I first joined the show, we were talking about this. There was a study for an antibody study done in LA County that suggested roughly about 400,000 people have been infected with COVID-19, which drives the mortality rate down even further. So right. All this testing keeps happening, and the more we find out that more people have had it than what they think has had it, and I really hope we see football. I really hope we see football with fans in the stands. And it was crazy. I saw today. I can't remember what school it was, or it may have been the NCAA, or maybe the Big 12 commissioner. One of them. They came out and said that if kids aren't in school in the fall, like going to college, then they're not going to have college football.
Yeah, and that's where the Penn State athletic director or president said, "We don't need you." Like we kind of we kind of covered that like last week, and that's kind of where Penn State was going, saying, "NCAA, we respect you, but we don't need you at the end of the day. I can make my own schedule. I can do this, and this." But one of my biggest thoughts and concerns and stuff like this is like schools here in the Indiana area. The 2020 school season isn't even out yet. School starts back up late July, early August. They're already saying that school is not going to start on time, or it's going to start in that e-learning crap that they've been doing for like a while, and that concerns me because of if high schools are already taking that step, what are the professional athletes going to do like as well? Like, are we going to take steps back, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? But also, I saw an interesting quote from Mike Tomlin earlier today too, saying that we all should open up at the same time. So, like, let's say LA can open up this week, but Pittsburgh can't open up till July. No facility should be open until everybody can open. What are your thoughts on that?
As a Cowboys fan, I'm all for it, right? Because Texas is already starting to open up.
Right.
So that means, probably by the end of June, the Cowboys can be in minicamp, right? Like, and go on about the offseason as normal. Whereas, like, the LA Rams, their governor is talking about locking them down until August or September. So
right.
Does it give the Cowboys an advantage? Of course it does. So I'm all for it. But if I'm just being unbiased, I would have to agree with Mike Tomlin, right? Because if I'm a LA Rams fan and knowing I have to play the Cowboys week 1, they've already had more time to prepare for this game than I have. So, because we all know during the offseason, you're not preparing for the off-season games. You're preparing for week 1.
Yeah, 100% always. So,
yeah, I mean, I would have to agree with Mike Tomlin.
Now, let me go a step further. Now, let's say that states are, like, I don't know any facts on this whatsoever, but let's say California's not opening up until August. Texas opens up this next week. Florida's closed until September, even though like they're already open, but I digress on that. What do you think? Like, what would you think if the NFL did like a spring training baseball thing where they send all the teams to Texas to train for your week 1, or that type of thing?
No, yeah, I think that would work. I mean, and I think there's other things they can do too. You know what I mean? Like, Texas is a pretty big state, and we have tons of big college stadiums.
I mean, you probably have more bigger stadiums than most of the NFL does. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Like, I mean, UT Stadium, for example, right here in Austin, it rivals with, probably 40% of the league's stadiums.
Yeah.
So, if college isn't going to play football, if they nix it, I think you move everybody to, states that have opened up, like Texas. You know what I mean? And we still have football, and we play those in college stadiums.
So let's say, for example, before we jump into the Cowboys schedule and break it down for everybody out there watching us, and guys, welcome to the show. If you're new here, consider liking to the Facebook page and YouTube page as well. Be feel to comment on the page below as well. But let's say
before we go any further, it's break time.
Let me get this point real quick. One quick.
Okay.
If California is closed until September 15th, the Cowboys play at LA Rams September 13th. Do they move the games to Texas or in a state that's open?
I think they do, man, because you have to think, like, the NFL is you're talking about billions of dollars being lost, right? Because now it becomes a political game. Now it becomes, think about the NBA, man. How much money have they lost? Major League Baseball,
True.
How much money have they lost? You know what I mean? You're talking about crippling sports.
Right. So Speaking of sports, guys, we're going to break down the Dallas Cowboys schedule right after a quick break. If you're listening to us live, it's going to be literally just a few seconds. So we'll be right back, guys. All right, guys, and that was our quick commercial break. Welcome back to Just for Clicks. I am Michael Buckheischer with my co-host here, Mike LeBlanc. And guys, of course, it is that time. It is that time of year where we start picking the games way too early. Football just doesn't start till September 10th. Opening day is the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Houston Texans. But first things first is we're going to break down each NFL team, all 32 schedules from week 1 to week 17, giving you guys a win-loss record. And we're going to start with the Dallas Cowboys because Mike LeBlanc is a Dallas Cowboys fan, and I'm a passive Dallas Cowboys fan. So I do root for the Cowboys if they're not playing the Chiefs. But I can't see the Chiefs. So, Mike, let's go ahead and just get it started right off the bat here. Whoa. Back up. Beep, 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 beep. Last year, I had the Dallas Cowboys going 13-3 in this preseason, going to the NFC Championship game. Clearly, I messed that up. They're 8-8, didn't even make the playoffs. This year, the Dallas Cowboys' strength of schedule is 30th in the league out of 32 teams. The teams that they play, their combined record from the 2019 season is 117, 138, and 9, giving them a 459% winning percentage. So Cowboys do have one of the easiest schedules in the league. So keep that in mind as you're picking these games here. So first things first, the Dallas Cowboys open up September 13th, 8:20 p.m. on NBC, primetime game at the LA Rams. Who do you got winning this one?
Cowboys.
Cowboys win.
Yeah, I don't think the LA Rams defense will be able to keep up with that. We'll be able to keep up with Gallup, CeeDee Lamb, and Amari Cooper. And not only that, I mean, so think about this. What was the recipe to beat the Cowboys last season?
Make Dak throw the ball down the field.
Make Dak throw the ball down the field. Okay, so we all know Dak is a dink and dunk passer, right? 5-10 yards. That's where, that's where he's dangerous. Now you have two people in Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb who can make something happen after the catch. Michael Gallup, I don't think, is really there to get that yak like Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb. I don't. Michael Gallup is a home run hitter. You send that guy on a fly route, and 9 times out of 10, he's burning that corner. So now you have to worry about those two, right, instead of just Amari Cooper. And you're not going to be able to stack the box this year against the Cowboys. So that's going to open up. I think the run game is going to open up, and I think Zeke has a coming out party week 1 on Seattle. I say he rushes for 168 yards and rushes for 2 touchdowns.
So I agree everything what you're saying, except for the fact that the Dallas Cowboys have a new coach. The Dallas Cowboys have a quarterback that is looking over Dak Prescott's shoulder. And with the whole COVID thing shutting down the states, shutting down the world, they are not getting work in. Yes, you can call these virtual practices or whatever you want to call it. Ridiculous. I never heard of a virtual practice. Hey, keep your shoulder up while you're throwing the ball, like over a Zoom conference. I don't get it. It's stupid. If the Rams and Cowboys were playing week 7, week 8, I would give you your Cowboys 100%. The fact that they're playing week 1, new coach, new system, Dak may or may not be on the field. So Andy Dalton's coming into a new offense if Dak is not on the field. Cowboys are losing this game. Rams primetime TV home opener. I got to give it to the Rams. They've proven it year in and year out that they are primetime performers. Dallas Cowboys, new coach, possibly a new quarterback. Sorry. You sound hurt over there.
I don't think the Rams win that game. I really don't. I got the Cowboys.
Yeah, and Len Charles over here on the Facebook says they lost Fredericks to the retirement O-line as well. Their O-line isn't going to be as good anymore. However, I think they fixed that in the draft. Yes, he may not be an instant impact by like Frederick is by any means, but they're still going to be pretty damn good. So feed Zeke, honestly. So week number 2, 9/20, September 20th, 1:00 game, first home opener versus the Atlanta Falcons. Who do you got?
It's our first home game. I've got Cowboys winning this game.
Yeah, I had the Cowboys winning as well because of the home game factor there. We both going to have them win this one, and I just think the Atlanta Falcons are a habitual 6-10, 7-9 team with Matt Ryan at the helm. Honestly, I would look to trade Matt Ryan, get him out of Atlanta, and tank for Trevor Lawrence to be honest, and rebuild that team. So
yeah, Falcons definitely need to be rebuilt.
So moving on to week number 3 here, we travel to Seattle Seahawks. This is a 4:25 kickoff, so kind of a primetime game. Who do you got?
I've got Cowboys losing their first game to Seattle.
Give me a reason why for that one.
I think Russell Wilson just takes advantage of that Cowboys defensive back.
This one I've been going back and forth on a lot, but I'm going to go with the loss for the Cowboys as well because of what you just said. Russell Wilson, the Tyler Lockett connection is going to be really apparent come week 1. Their additions and in the draft. Seattle's like we said earlier, Seattle's a Super Bowl contending team, and they need to win these conference games, versus NFC teams here. So they have to win this game. It's hard to say it's a week 3, it's a must win, but I think 3 is a must win because of their division is so strong. So they need to get these easy wins.
Michael Rodriguez said he'd like to see Pollard in the offense more. Michael, I'd like to see Pollard in the offense more too. I'd like to see Pollard on first down runs or first down screens for the Cowboys, and have Zeke in as your second and third down back.
The problem with putting Pollard in more into the offense is you gave Zeke all that money. You have to milk him for every cent that you paid him. Keep Zeke on the field all the time.
I hear what you're saying. But I think Pollard is kind of that dynamic player. He's not that every down back, and he's not a bruising running back or anything, but he's really shifty. He did a lot of good things for the Cowboys last season. And, when Dak was not Dak, sorry.
Zeke was held out.
Yeah, when Zeke was held out, Pollard, kind of helped hold that offense together.
Yeah, of course, look who they were playing, Miami Dolphins and New York Jets, and I don't even know who else they played. So it's easy to hold your team together when you're playing crap teams just like that. Let me see him play against the Seattle Seahawks without Zeke. How does he do then?
Pollard is not greater than Zeke. That is
a bold statement.
That is a very bold statement there, Lynn. No, and it's like I said, he's not an every down back, and he's not going to be your primary running back. But to change things up throughout the game, I'd like to see him touch the ball, 6, 7. No, I'd say about 5 or 6 times, and a couple screen passes, or like the Texas play where the back comes out and comes over the middle.
Yeah,
I'd like to see him on more plays like that because he is shifty, and once he gets into open space, he's pretty dangerous.
I could see your 5-6 touches per game, but you have to realize every time those 5 or 6 touches go to Pollard, they're taken away from what you said, the best back in the NFL. So, Pollard is not better than Zeke by any means. But the problem with the NFL nowadays is every team is a 2-back system. So Zeke has to have Pollard to be honest, to be successful. Yeah. So moving on to week number 4, back at home, 1 p.m. Fox game versus the Cleveland Browns. Who do you got?
I got the Cowboys.
100%.
The Cowboys. The Cleveland Browns team, I think they finished second, maybe third in their division. But I don't think they're ready. This is the wrong way to say it, but you'll understand. I don't think they're ready to win yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, definitely the Cleveland Browns aren't ready to win. I don't care if they have all the offensive talent in the world. If you guys have been listening to us at all, I tell you over and over and over, the Browns find new ways to lose. And I think the Browns finish last in their division. I think since Cincinnati does just a tad bit better than them, beat them in the head-to-head like they both will finish, I don't know, 5-11, 6-10 type of score. But I'm picking the Cowboys to win because it is at home. Amari Cooper shines at home. He does not. I mean, he has to show up at like home games. Like he doesn't get lost on the bus on the way to the road games or like anything. And we've heard all offseason that Odell Beckham Jr.'s back. He is 100%, yada, yada, yada. And I think Amari Cooper wants to outshine Odell Beckham Jr. in this game 100%.
100%, yeah.
So moving on to the next week, we're back at home again, 4:25 kickoff versus the New York Giants. What do you got?
Home game. Yeah, I got. Man, I think there's somebody racing like right here by my house. I got the Cowboys at home against the Giants.
We got the Cowboys at home versus Giants as well.
I think Alden Smith, bringing him in, Gregory, and then with Tank Johnson, they just create havoc for Daniel Jones.
So the reason why I think the Cowboys are going to ultimately sweep the Giants this year is because of what you just said about the Browns. The Giants aren't ready to win yet. They are ready to repeat their another 4-10 season or 3-12 or whatever they like they were, or 3-13 I should say. They're poised to finish last in the Division A like again. So the Cowboys win this one. It's going to get ugly early. I'm talking like 45-10, and those 10 points just mop up the duty.
Yeah, it's going to be. I don't think it'll be that high of a score. I think
Amari Cooper gets 4 touchdowns.
Think so?
No, so
we'll see. I got a 28-7 or 28-10.
Would you like to address this comment here in the chat here? Christian McCaffrey for the Panthers is heads and tails better than Zeke for the best running back in the league. You are a Zeke lover. You said Zeke is the best. I gave you four players that are better than Zeke, one of them being Christian McCaffrey.
You did. I think Christian McCaffrey is a flash in the pan.
Thank you.
I don't think you're going to see Christian McCaffrey do what he did last season.
Because he doesn't have Cam?
He doesn't have Cam, so they're not afraid of their quarterback rolling out, right? That's a lot. When you have a quarterback who can kill you with his legs, right? And it doesn't matter about Cam Newton's injuries or anything like that. Right? It doesn't matter. You are still scared of Cam coming out of that backfield. That's what he's built his career off of, right? So you still have to game plan for that, regardless. So that opened Christian McCaffrey up to a lot, right? So now you don't have Cam and you don't have a quarterback who's going to tuck the ball and run. So now you can focus in on the run game. You can focus in on Christian McCaffrey. Look for McCaffrey to rush for 1,400 yards this season.
This will definitely be a proving ground for Christian McCaffrey this year to see if he is worth that money. But moving on to the next game here.
Hold on, before we go, the two best backs in the league are Ezekiel Elliott and Saquon Barkley. Those are the two best backs in the league, hands down.
Barkley is one of them, but Zeke is not. Moving on. Next up, Dallas Cowboys versus the Arizona Cardinals. This is a Monday night game. Who do you got?
This is hard. You got Hopkins and Larry Fitzgerald, and then you got Kyler Murray, who the Cowboys historically have always had trouble with a running quarterback, right? So, man, I say the Arizona Cardinals win this game.
You're picking your Dallas Cowboys to lose on Monday Night Football to a second-year quarterback that's not even 6 foot tall.
Yep.
I mean, I look down at this quarterback being 6'2", 6'3". So, with that being said, I got to go with the Cowboys. Cowboys in primetime Monday night. I don't think they're going to lose on This is the season I think Mike McCarty and the quarterback, whoever it is, at this point will be Andy Dalton.
When we lose to Arizona, this is going to be the game where people start calling for Dak's head.
I can see that, but they're already calling for Dak's head when they started out 1-2 to start the season. So I think Andy Dalton is finding his stride come this Monday night game, and this is his coming out party. Do you remember when a couple years ago when Ryan Fitzgerald threw for 300 or 400 yards, 4 straight games?
Yeah.
This could be a start of Andy Dalton's 3 or 4 games in a row for 350 plus games because of the teams that they coming up next. So right now, Mike, I got the Cowboys at 5-2, and you have the Cowboys at 5-2.
Yep.
So actually, yes, I'm sorry. Yeah. Get my math right here. So moving on, after 3 straight
Michael, bro, put that up. Put that up. That is not a top 10 quarterback. Come on.
So Michael Rodriguez here in the chat. If you guys listen on Facebook Live here or YouTube Live, feel free to comment. We'll interact with them throughout the show. He says Dak Prescott is a top 10 quarterback. Michael, let me ask you this question: Is Dak Prescott a top 10 quarterback via stats? Which he is via stats.
Via stats,
a top 10 quarterback via your eye test. Because eye test, he is a tier 2, tier 3 quarterback. I mean, he is I could probably name 16 quarterbacks better than Dak Prescott right now, just using my eye test. So,
yeah. I mean, Tom Brady, Drew Brees. So count them with me. Tom Brady.
How about every quarterback in the NFC East is better than Dak Prescott? Every starting quarterback in the NFC right now is probably better than Dak Prescott. Yes, I'm talking about Daniel Jones. Give him next year, he'll be better. Dwayne Haskins, he'll be better. Carson Wentz, better. And you said Tom Brady, Drew Brees,
Aaron Rodgers,
Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson,
Phillip Rivers,
yeah,
Cam Newton, Kirk Cousins, Ben Roethlisberger, Matthew Stafford.
How about this? We can name 10 quarterbacks better than Dak Prescott over the age of 32.
Yeah. From stats wise, and that's where a lot of people get it so misconstrued, right? Because of Dak Prescott's stats. But you guys have to understand these stats are coming from because of his receivers. They're yak. Think about it. When Zeke gets a screen, 8 times out of 10, he's taking it for 20, 30 yards.
Right.
So that's not Dak. And then he throws these 5, 10-yard passes to Amari Cooper, and Amari Cooper takes it to the house, or he takes it for another 10, 15, 20 yards. You know what I mean? Like, Dak is not eye test-wise. I don't even understand why he's the starting quarterback in the league.
Well, I can tell you why he's a starting quarterback in the league, because look at who the Cowboys had previously. They had Cooper Rush, which is now with the Giants. Cooper Rush will be better than Dak Prescott if he is able to develop in New York. He needs a year or two to develop in New York. Jason Garrett is a pretty good coach. He is not a great head coach by any means, but he's a pretty good quarterback's offensive coordinator type of coach. He can develop Cooper Rush. Guys, look for Cooper Rush to probably start in the league, not next year, but the 2022 season. I bet you Cooper Rush is starting somewhere in the 2022 season.
I think he's starting for the Giants, and I think that's why Cooper Rush went to the Giants, for Garrett to develop him.
Yeah. So we will see. We will see. But let's go ahead and move on and pick in this next game. After 3 home games, you have I had the Cowboys going 3-0 at home. You have them going 2-1. They traveled to Washington Redskins for the first time this season. This is a 1 p.m. kickoff. Who do you got winning versus the Redskins?
Cowboys, easy. Cowboys.
Go ahead.
Cowboys are going to sweep the Redskins.
And you know what? The Cowboys lose this game. For some reason, the Cowboys have a hard time playing the 1:00 games. I don't know what it is, but you have to realize they're coming from the Central Time Zone, going to Eastern Time Zone. So that'll be a noon kickoff. Everything's moved up an hour earlier, and for some reason, it's just those division games. The Redskins always, I mean, you can be 0-15, but when you play the Dallas Cowboys, you're going to step up like it's your Super Bowl. This is going to be the Redskins' Super Bowl. This game right here, Dwayne Haskins is starting for his starting job right here. He is going to come out and he is going to ball.
I don't think Dwayne Haskins. I don't think he's a starting quarterback in the league, man. I really don't.
Yeah.
I think he's a backup quarterback. I think that the Redskins will realize that this season, and Redskins. I think Trevor Lawrence goes to the Redskins next season.
So they're tanking for Trevor, huh? Moving on to the next one here. Another primetime game at the Philadelphia Eagles. Who do you got?
Ooh, which one is this? Is this at home or is this away? It's at Philly. I got the Cowboys losing that game.
Got the Cowboys losing. I had the Cowboys losing as well. The reason why, guys, look at this part of the schedule. They're on the road at the Redskins, on the road at Eagles. Then they play the Steelers. Then they play at the Vikings. They could easily go 4-0 after a kind of cupcake schedule.
They got a bye week in between the Steelers and the Vikings.
But they're playing hard game after hard game after hard game. It starts to wear on.
Yeah, it starts with the Eagles. Then you got Eagles, Steelers, Vikings, and then you get a break with the Redskins. I think and then the Ravens. They've got that middle half of the season is going to be. That's going to tell you whether they're going to be a playoff team or they're not.
Yeah. So just for reference here, the Dallas Cowboys do technically have the 30th ranked NFL schedule in the league this year compared to the records of the 2019 season. Why that goes up so high? Because they play the Giants and Redskins twice. When they combine for 10 wins total 2 times over, I mean, it definitely hurts the winning percentage whatsoever. So we have them both losing to the Eagles, giving us the next game versus the Pittsburgh Steelers at home.
Pittsburgh at home. I think they win this game because I think Pittsburgh Steelers are going into rebuild mode.
Yeah. This game is hard to pick for me right now because we don't know if Ben Roethlisberger is going to be on the roster or not going into the 2020 season. If Ben Roethlisberger is on the roster and playing this game, the Steelers win this game. For some reason, they just had this knack against the Dallas Cowboys. Now, if Ben Roethlisberger isn't on the roster, I think the Cowboys win. Obviously, so right now I'm going to say the Steelers beat the Cowboys in Jerry World, and right now I had the Cowboys going 5-5, and you had the Cowboys going 7-3. Are you still pretty confident in your picks here?
Yep.
All right, so moving on here, we have another 4:25 game on Fox. Travel to Minnesota to take on the Skulls. Who do you got?
Minnesota.
You have Minnesota in this one.
Yep.
I'm taking Minnesota as well.
I think they're just too tough.
I don't think Minnesota is going to win their division by any means. I don't think they're going to get second place in their division even. I think they're going to finish third behind the Lions and the Packers. Mark that down right now. The Lions win that division this year. But for some reason, the Cowboys just don't play good against the Vikings. I can date back to when Randy Moss scored five touchdowns on them on Thanksgiving Day. Have the Cowboys ever beat the Minnesota Vikings since that day? Not that I can remember. Yeah, so going into their stadium, it's going to be loud. It's indoors. Kirk Cousins doesn't normally perform on primetime games. This is a passive primetime game. The 4:25 time slot is like a pre-primetime type of game. And there's only 2 other games on at a time, but Vikings win. So right now, I got
with this game, I think the Vikings win soundly.
Yeah, it's going to be a statement game.
Yeah,
so
it's not even going to be close.
So right now, I have the Cowboys on a 3-game losing streak, putting them at a 5-6 record. And if people aren't calling for Dak's head now, they are now. So moving on, back at home, 4:30 kickoff versus the Washington Redskins. Who do you got?
Cowboys. I said it earlier. I think Cowboys sweep the Redskins.
Yeah, I think so as well. Putting them as a 500 mark on my side of things, moving you to 8-4 on the season. This is the time that Dwayne Haskins has probably already been benched, and the Redskins are thinking for the future, like at this point.
Yep.
Next game up, 8:20 kickoff right there on Fox, traveling to Baltimore to take on the Ravens.
I got the Ravens. I think the Ravens are going to compete with the Kansas City Chiefs for that AFC championship game.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be a really, really close game too.
I think the Ravens win this game as well. This is a statement game for the Ravens, just like the Vikings game was.
Mhm.
It's like the score is not going to reflect the beatdown that actually happened in the game.
I think between because I just said the game is going to be close. That was for the Chiefs and the Ravens, but between the Cowboys and the Ravens, I think the score is close. I think it's something like probably 21-17.
Yeah, I would go with that score, 21-24 to 17 points, but those 17 points are going to come late for the Cowboys in the fourth quarter and opportunity.
They'll come, during garbage time.
Just to make it worth something. Now, this is the part of the schedule where I think the Cowboys, they take off. They're on the road taking on Joe effing Burrow at Cincinnati and the Bengals. Who do you got winning this one?
I've got the Cowboys winning this game.
Putting them at 9 wins on the season for you, and I had the Cowboys beating down the Bengals, 45-3.
I don't think it's a beatdown. I think Joe Burrow still hangs in. You got to remember, like, the Cowboys don't have that great of a secondary.
I don't care.
I think Joe Burrow is going to take advantage of that.
Joe, if this was week 2 or week 3, I would agree with you 100%. But we're talking like week 14. Joe Burrow hasn't played an NFL season yet. He played 14 games total in college in his championship season. At this point, he has taken some licks in the chest. He's won a couple close games, kind of hit. Like, he's like, oh, NFL's not so bad. Then the Cowboys come and smack him in his mouth. They're going to release the dogs, pin back those ears on the defensive line. They're going to hit him over and over and over. It's going to get ugly early and fast. Give me 7-7 on the year. Next up, we have the – go ahead.
No, you go. Keep it rolling.
Yeah, next up we have the 49ers at home, December 20th on NBC, primetime game. Who do you got?
I've got the Cowboys winning against the 49ers. I don't think Jimmy G can get it done, and I think CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper really take advantage of that defense.
Do you remember me saying, like, week 3, I think Amari Cooper's going to have like 3 or 4 touchdowns alone in that game?
Yep.
This is CeeDee Lamb's coming out party because the San Francisco 49ers have a great defense. I'm not going to take anything away from them whatsoever. They're going to stop Zeke. Zeke's going to have like 40 to 50 yards total on 12 touches. They're going to put Richard Sherman over on Amari Cooper, kind of run like a bracket zone over him. One-on-one with CeeDee Lamb on the backside. CeeDee Lamb is going to go off. 150, 160 yards, 10 to 11 catches, 2 touchdowns. And the Cowboys they're going to win that game, 28-7. Next up, we got at home the Philadelphia Eagles. What do you got?
At home against the Eagles, I got the Cowboys winning this game at home.
Give you 11 wins on the season. I had the Cowboys winning at home as well. Just like last season when the Eagles had to beat the Cowboys to win the division and make the playoffs, the Cowboys have to beat the Eagles to win the division and go to the playoffs this game. Roles are reversed. We're at home. We're going to feed Zeke the ball this time. He's not going to get 6 touches for 12 yards or whatever it was. Feed Zeke the ball. Eagles go down. Cowboys win. Let's say 24-21. Late game field goal to win the game.
I got that.
And then the last game on the season, we travel to New York to take on the Giants. Who do you got?
Depends. If the Cowboys win the game against the Eagles, like I think they are, I think they lose to the Giants, and I think they lose to the Giants because they're going to rest their starters. Mike McCarthy is notoriously known for resting his starters if they're going into the playoffs. If they've already secured a playoff spot, he's resting those starters against the Giants, and we lose.
Yeah, I could see that, but I think our secondary is better than the New York Giants starters at this point in the season. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Cooper Rush on the field at this game because Daniel Jones is either hurt or checked out for the season. I'm taking the Cowboys to win this game because if they win this game, this gives them the third seed in the NFC, bumping them up from the fourth to the third for possibly a extra home game if the number one seed, the Saints, lose. So I had the Cowboys going 10-7 on the season. You are at 11-6. Pretty much the same thing here. But let's go ahead and look back at the schedule a little bit here. Circle 2 games that are like must win games for you in this season.
Must win games. Number 1 is going to be against the 49ers. That's a must win. And then the other one is going to be the week after, must win against the Eagles.
Yeah, I was going to go that route as well. Just be a little bit different from you. The last time we played the Eagles with that Week 16 game, that is a must win because I think that is going to be for the division. The winner of that game wins the division, like I think. And I also want to look at the Ravens game as well when they travel to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. I think they're going to lose the game no matter what. But this is going to kind of be like a confidence game. Like, hey, yes, we did get rolled. Yes, we got our dick stomped in the dirt. But hey, we are starting to find our gel on like offense. And if they do well, they kind of hit that stride, win the final 4 games of the season, going into the playoffs. NFC Championship is not out of reach.
No, I don't think it is. I don't think the NFC Championship is out of reach. It just really depends on who they play, their path to that, right? Because if they have to play the Saints or the 49ers again in the playoffs, I don't see the Cowboys getting to the NFC Championship.
And I would love to play 49ers and the playoffs because I don't have faith in Kyle Shanahan to call a complete game. I think he's going to get nervous. He's going to get bored.
I think that Super Bowl game rattled him.
Yeah. And so, I mean, even if the 49ers make the playoffs, I don't see them getting out of the first round this season. The 2 teams that I do not want to play in the playoffs whatsoever on the NFC side, the Packers, don't want to play the Packers. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to play with a chip on his shoulder all season. They sneak into the playoffs. This is a type of team that they could be a six seed and win the Super Bowl. I
don't want to play the Packers either. Number 1, Aaron Rodgers is going to have that chip on his shoulder. Number 2, Aaron Rodgers does not like Mike McCarthy, and he's going to prove.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. And I also don't want to play the Eagles in the playoffs either because playing a team 3 times is always tough. Mm-hmm. And yes, we do have them splitting in the season, but the third time against the Eagles, let's say we sweep them in the regular season, happen to play them a third time, 9 times out of 10, when you play that third time, it goes to the team that lost the previous 2 games. So I just, as a Cowboys fan, I don't want to play the Packers or the Eagles whatsoever. So guys, that is going to be it for tonight's show. Join us tomorrow as we break down more NFC East teams. We're going to go to the New York Football Giants. Going to break them down, go by each schedule, talk a little bit how we did tonight, give you some insights, and see if Jason Garrett and Cooper Rush can take starting jobs over there, right? So
yeah, I think Dalton takes a starting job in the Cowboys. So I think he takes it by like week 5, week 6, and then we really start seeing the Cowboys come to life. Especially with Dalton's arm strength and his pocket presence.
So let's go ahead and talk about that because if you're thinking week 6, I believe you had them going 4-2 to start that little stretch, losing to the Cardinals, losing to the Seahawks.
It's going to be they lose to the Cardinals.
The Monday night game is going to teeters that totter.
Yeah, because I think Dak throws 3 picks in that game and just falls flat on his face. And that's when people are going to start calling for his head because we lost. Number 1, we lost to the Arizona Cardinals, who I guarantee most people have that already penciled in as a win, right?
Right.
And Dak plays horrible.
So let me ask you. So I'm on record right now saying that Dak will be benched by week 4. Andy Dalton will be a starter by week 4 because they'll start 1-2, losing to the Rams, losing to the Seahawks, only beating the Falcons by like 1 or 2 points, and a really, really ugly type of game there. So let's say Dak Prescott ends up getting a contract figured out by the season. Talking like, 5-6 years, $110 million contract.
I don't think they get a contract done by the season. I think that's why Andy Dalton was brought in the first place. They want Dak to sign that franchise tag.
Yeah.
And we want him to go out like, okay, we got you another receiver. You're going to have to go out and prove you want all this money, right? He wants 5 years for 130, 140 million. If I'm Jerry Jones or Stephen Jones, with the play that I have seen, not by stats, the play that I've seen by my eye test, your play does not warrant 5 years, 140, 130 million dollars. I'm sorry, it doesn't. And, Cowboys fans, you can be mad at me all you want. I'm a diehard Cowboys fan. I bleed silver and blue, but Dak Prescott is not our franchise quarterback, and he is not the answer going forward.
Are you saying Andy Dalton is your franchise quarterback moving forward? Because I think this is his 11th year going into to the league. So you probably have him for 4 or 5 more years if healthy, like obviously.
I think Dalton will be our quarterback going forward for the next 2 or 3 years. And I think we draft a quarterback or we pick someone up in free agency and really start developing. That's Mike McCarthy's MO.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and look at 2 early drafts for next year. Obviously, like we both had the Cowboys, doing pretty good, 10, 11 wins going to the playoffs. So by just going to the playoffs, you'll get like a 23rd round pick in the first round. Do the Cowboys try to move up, go all in for Trevor Lawrence, let Andy Dalton develop him for the next couple years? Or do you I haven't really looked at the draft too much yet, but there's always those 2-3 quarterbacks out there. Do the Cowboys want to draft a quarterback next year if they don't have Dak?
If they don't have Dak, yeah, I can see Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones trading up to go after a quarterback. I don't think it's Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is going to go number 1 overall. I think that kid is ready to play in the pros now.
Right.
His football IQ and the kid is amazing to watch.
He's still under 20 years old or something. Yeah. I think so.
And Dabo Sweeney has done an amazing job developing him. I don't think we draft up that high to get Trevor Lawrence. I don't know the other quarterbacks. I haven't really looked at college football that much. But I do think if Dak isn't there, they definitely trade up to get a quarterback.
So let's say, in theory, Dak does get benched by week 6, like you said, or week 7, like I should say. Like you said, Andy Dalton plays for a couple years. Dak happens to sign some type of contract, 3 or 4 year contract. Once Andy Dalton's done, does Dak Prescott come back and be the starter for the Dallas Cowboys ever?
No.
So once he's at a starting role, he's done in Cowboys.
Yeah, if he signs this franchise tag and he gets replaced by Andy Dalton, the Cowboys are going to cut him at the end of the season.
Would you not try to sign and trade? Get something out of him, 4th, 5th round pick?
I would, but he would be still under contract until free agency, right? So I would definitely, before free agency hit next offseason, I'd definitely try to unload him and trade him somewhere.
Because let's go ahead and go back to our chat here. Forget who said it. Scrolling through here, there it is. Michael Rodriguez says Dak Prescott is a top 10 quarterback in the league. So I mean, in theory, you sign and trade him by Michael Rodriguez thought process here. You are going to get a first overall pick for him, right? Or a first round pick for him, right?
Yeah, but I don't think
not going to happen.
No, I'm not. If I'm an owner or a GM of any team, I'm no way in hell I'm willing to give up a first round pick for Dak Prescott.
Unless you're the Oakland Raiders and they have an abundance of quarterbacks over there and they can get.
I don't even think the Raiders would give up a first round pick for Dak Prescott.
I'm sure somebody will, because we see people overpaying for underperforming talent all the time. So we'll we'll only see. So guys, that's going to be it for tonight show. As always, thank you for joining us. Join us tomorrow, same time, same place, right here on YouTube or Facebook Live. Or if you can't catch us at the live times, we're on rtfsportsnetwork.com, noon East Coast time, right there on the site. Have a good night, guys.
Deuces.